This is not a good look for Te Pāti Māori, and that actually means it's not a good look for the left, because there is no evidence anywhere of any polling anywhere where Labour and the Greens could make a government together. So if you are, like many here, keen to have a left-led government, then what's happening in Te Pāti Māori at the moment is not good for you. Let's have a listen to the story.
Greed, avarice and entitlement. Just some of the barbs being thrown around today with a very public escalation of the ongoing infighting within Te Pāti Māori. Party President John Tamihere is now urging MPs Maria Meno Kapakingi and Takuta Whereas to quit Parliament. This coming amid calls for Tamihere to step down himself so the party can return to a more collective approach. Te Aniwa Huri Hanganui joins us now for more on this. There have been some heated exchanges. Tell us what's being said.
Well, Te Pāti Māori President John Tamihere has today made an extraordinary statement on social media, calling the conduct of both Maria Meno Kapakingi and Takuta Whereas greedy and entitled. This comes just days after Takuta Whereas declared publicly his support for Maria Meno and declared a vote of no confidence in the party's leadership. John Tamihere is now also alleging that the two of them have been seeking support to overthrow co-leaders Rawiri Waititi and Debbie Ngaruapeka. And he claims that after failing to do this internally, according to Tikanga, they have resorted to destabilising the party. So some pretty hefty claims there. Maria Meno Kapakingi told One News over the phone that the only way she will leave Parliament is if the people of Te Tai Tokero, her electorate, tell her it's time to go. This is, of course, the latest in a very long and messy spat for Te Pāti Māori, and it's unclear yet how they will resolve these clearly deep divisions within the party.
Now, there's a lot to talk about here, yeah? And one of the things, Chewie, to talk about here is, even though it was sticky and uncomfortable, and a lot of us were like, why are we airing this dirty laundry now? It goes to show that when there was a challenge and a problem within the Greens, the way they handled it was night and day compared to what's going on here. It was night and day, and it was always the idea of still a united front, wanting what's best overall for the Greens. This feels very different. The online statement that they were talking about is here. I'm not going to read the whole thing because, as you can see, he had some feels.
Oh, damn.
That is, yeah. Yeah, I'll just give you the first couple of paragraphs from John Tamihere. The anatomy of madness. In 2017, Te Pāti Māori was vanquished. People forget that. Remember the Maori Party at the time, the Māori Party, Te Pāti Māori were no longer in government. From Parliament, and lay in disarray until the new executive group joined the party, led by Shay Wilson as president, Rangi McLean as vice president, Tane and Kapua Smith as Vice President Wahine, Elijah Pue, probably, as Treasurer, Rose Waitford as the Secretary. I joined the party in 2019 supporting my son-in-law's ambitions, Rawiri. In the Wairiki electorate, I also became the candidate for Tāmaki Makaurau in the 2020 election. The party won its way back to Parliament via an astonishing win in the Wairiki. Te Pāti Māori was the only political force that was able to take votes from the Labour Party as it surged to a majority government. Rawiri was joined by Debbie Ngaruapeka as a list member. These two co-leaders in Parliament set the platform for the magnificent result which occurred in 2023. I was made president 6th of March 2021. As president, the priority was also on rebuilding the party's backbone. Everything needed to be rebuilt from the ground up: systems, processes, resources, at a time where there was no resourcing, little support, and even less belief that it could be achieved. And it goes on. I don't know, what is it, 2,000 words? There's a lot of feels there. If you want to check it out for yourself, John Tamihere is a public Facebook profile page. Now, it's really interesting. Like I've heard rumours, and I obviously won't say who they're from, and they're not from any person who is an elected official, that they have the numbers to move John Tamihere on his way, and also that potentially they've got the numbers to roll Debbie and Rawiri. Now, whether they do that or don't, I don't know. I've heard that there are frictions between Hana and Debbie Ngaruapeka, and that maybe Hana would abstain from a vote, meaning that the leaders could be rolled. It's sticky. It is really sticky. I also know that, you have this idea of a leader for such a time as this, and I don't know John Tamihere very well. We broadcast at the same time, and I sold him a house. He is, when I say a force of nature, I'm sort of using that neutrally, neither good nor bad. I mean, I can imagine he could be the biggest asshole in the world going after what he wants, but he could also be a really forceful leader taking people with him. And when I hear about the 2017 through 2023, I wonder if and I don't know, okay, this is now me, just my feels, right? This is through no conversation with people, but I wonder, Chewie, if they needed someone who was going to grab that party by the scruff of the neck and go, we're going this way. And I mean, authoritarian, whatever, just direct leadership. But now that the party is forming around several people, there's a tight grip from the president on how things need to go. And now that it doesn't quite need that, and this is just, if it doesn't quite need that, it's not quite affecting as well. You always think about things like, I often relate things to church groups because that's my background. You have these people who run churches who are very sort of controlling and authoritarian. There's obviously lots of bads about that, but within the system of that church, the good thing is things get done. Like things get achieved because this person is driving it. And you have those other group of those kinds of churches where people are like, oh, it's all good. If you want to do that, do that. But then often nothing gets done. And everyone just kind of floats along and does nothing. I wonder if it's a bit the same in leadership at the moment within Te Pāti Māori, that at 2020 it needed to be like a come with me, or get the fuck out of the way. And now there are people of those MPs who are feeling this is not the style of leadership I want. Again, this last 2 minutes is just me, right? Nothing that anyone's told me, but that was the kind of things I was wondering around at Chewie.
Yeah, it's a strange thing. Like if anything to do with politics and leadership, sometimes it's a double-edged sword, right? You've got a very powerful personality. You can let people follow you, but it can be really, really divisive. John Tamihere deserves some credit for taking a party, as he said, that was eviscerated and rebuilding it. That's phenomenal. Doesn't often happen, right? And now the question becomes, is he the right person for that party right now?
Yeah. Sort of what I'm saying.
I would probably say what we're seeing is it's not the temperament for the moment. And what we have here is like Te Pāti Māori, with the assistance of the Toitu movement, had an enormous amount of momentum.
Yep.
Enormous amount of momentum, and now it's really, really messy. Like, we've got some huge personalities and some hopefully glorious futures ahead of some of the people that we've been talking about here. I've followed obviously a lot of the stuff around the RSB that Ferris was involved in, and his input into that committee, that submissions process. He's obviously a very, very smart cookie. And I was really, really impressed with him. So I'm probably more inclined to side with him in this point. And I'm really gutted about that, because we've had Rawiri and we've had Debbie on the show a couple of times. We like to think that there's a relationship here, but like Te Pāti Māori is definitely got some speed wobbles at the moment, and I think we're looking on going, come on guys, recover. We need this sorted ASAP.
But then the next question has to be, and whānau, I'll often come back to the game of politics, is Te Pāti Māori on some, it's a little bit like Tariana Turia and Peter Sharples back in the day were seen as quite moderate and centrist. And they've started to maybe move to their more natural place on the political. And Debbie Ngarewa and Rawiri are not Peter Sharples and Tariana Turia, but they're also not sitting in the kind of activist position as much, not saying that they're not activists, but as much as perhaps Doc and Mariamino and, obviously Eru is not a part of this, but in that kind of world. If it goes that path, will then the public go, will that actually be a thing that the public goes, well, actually, you know, I could understand these kind of more senior politicians being involved with Labor to put my vote to Labor, it'll be safe. But these kind of quote unquote young upstarts now running this party, am I going to trust the future of this country to them being the casting vote? Oh no, I better, if I'm a centre left, centre right voter, I better give this to Luxon just for safety. You know what I mean? It's like, what does that then mean for that narrative that the right is already painting and will continue to paint, that this is going to be a disruptive force on the country?
What I found really interesting is there's this call from iwi leadership to have a forum, a get together, a clearing of the air, sort of thing, and I think everyone should pay attention to that.
Yeah,
because what is happening now, this tearing and ripping of flesh and everybody airing it in a fucking Facebook manifesto, is not doing anybody any good. And I think the Māori leadership recognise this, and they're like, right, well, we've got to right the boat here. We've got to have some sort of like unified direction here.
Yeah.
And I just hope people pay attention to that, and that they do sort of take this offline for a little bit, and go back to their kaupapa, go back to their people, and go, all right, it's got a bit out of hand. What are we going to do?
Then the other thing is, and the name that I can't say, for Tizzle, Tiz and Art I love. This is the other thing, because probably Hana and Orini are vulnerable in an election, because Orini's new, obviously not many people participated in the by-election, but vulnerable, and Hana won by like the thinnest of votes. Are you going to get people like our viewer right now? I voted for TPM and Hana 100. I think I'll be changing my vote next time. I'm actually gutted at what I'm witnessing as I'm witnessing their demise. So Hana getting in was amazing. Like I don't know if she's in New York at the moment, but has been in New York for the top 100 most influential, citizens of the world under 25 or whatever it is. It's amazing. And we all remember the haka, and most people watching remember it with absolute, the fondness that it was. But when it comes to her electorate seat, it was a really slim margin. And will this shakiness, or will this boat rocking be the thing that changes 5% of the votes in her electorate? And then is she gone? And then is Labor going to take 2 or 3 of those seats back, and then there's going to be 2 Te Pāti Māori MPs, and then what? So I was frustrated with the Greens leadership thing. I thought it was a bit naff and a bit airy-fairy, and it didn't feel like it was, maybe for me at the time, it wasn't actually directional enough. But compared to this, it was the gold standard. Compared to this, this is bad. This is bad. It's bad for Te Pāti Māori in general. And like we've said a couple of times, it feels like the difference between Te Pāti Māori and Toitu Te Tiriti, they're 2 groups that I want to, and I think I can say we want to get behind and support. And it feels like we've got a Christmas party coming up this week, and our 2 best mates are fighting. And does that mean we have to ask Knight? We can't ask either of them to come to the party, because if they both turn up, there's going to be a scrap. And if we only ask one of them, then we're going to put the other one. We're kind of sitting here stuck in the middle, going, what can we do here?
Just so I'm clear on your analogy here, have you invited Tamihere and Ferris to the Christmas party?
John Tamihere,
ambitious.
John Tamihere, I've messaged him a few times in the last year, and every time I say, do you want to come on, he says no. So I don't think we've got any trouble with that one. Okay. But you know what I'm saying? It's these two groups that you're looking at and going, at the heart of their kaupapa, they're both really important, and they both really need to be successful, and they both really need to be kind of helped when they need help. Not white savior complex, not wearing the white hat, but when if they want help, to be able to call on and be able to support them. And it's just like, don't know what to do. It's like, it's not, I mean, I'm exaggerating saying my two best friends, but like if my two best friends hated each other and my 21st birthday was coming up, what do I do? If my girlfriend and my best mate were hating each other, you can pick which is the girlfriend, which is the best mate. They hated each other. How do you have a birthday party? You know, it's really hard.
Two of my favourite political moments in the last 12 months. It's a no-brainer. They're both revolving around Te Pāti Māori and the Toitu movement, the RSB hikoi and Hana's tearing up of the bill are the two most jaw-dropping, I'm fucking proud of this stupid little Briscoes country moments that I've had in years. So that's why it's important that we need Te Pāti Māori to succeed. We need them to be firing on all cylinders, and at the moment they're not.
All right. Quick chat here from the proletariat. Just says, real talk, boys. I'm Labour supporter, but I'm super mad at TPM for the chaos. It's hurting the left. John needs to go. There you go. And I guess when I was offering feels before and thoughts before, it's just like I'm more saying, does he need to go? Is this time? Like, because I'm thinking about John Tamihere and I'm going, if he needs to go, if that's what's best for Te Pāti Māori, then he should choose to move on. Unless it's about more than what is best for Te Pāti Māori and John Tamihere. Maybe if it was about someone being what's best for John Tamihere, then maybe he wouldn't. And I'm not saying that's the case. I have no idea. But if this is what was best for the movement, then you would hope that John would just go, for the sake of the movement, I'll move on. That means the two leaders we've got can continue on, rebuild relationships, mend fences, and get going, or whatever.